Hey guys, welcome back. This is video number 2 of our Learning Design Space series. I gotta tell you, I was almost all the way through recording this video and the battery died on my laptop. So I'm starting over. So bear with me. I've got it plugged in now. See, it says plugged in. It was fully charged when I came in here. So I'm logging into Design Space, and hopefully since it shut down suddenly, it doesn't give me any problems. You never know. It's Design Space. Okay, I don't need to see this. So I can just click done. It shows that I'm still logged in, so let's create a new project. So last night we covered some of the basics here of getting it out of the box. You're setting up your machine and updating your firmware, and so we're not going to do that. There's a couple little things I want to show you. See this little square here? If I click on this little square, I get lines. Love my lines. I use them all the time. If you don't want them, get rid of them. I like them, so I keep them there. Tonight we're going to cover some of the things that are over here. We're going to insert some images from Cricut cartridges. This is everything from a cartridge. If you use upload images, we're not covering that in this video. That's a later, down the road kind of video. Those would be your SVGs and your JPEGs and whatnot. Your add text. That will be from Cricut cartridges and from your system. So that's a pretty cool thing. You can buy fonts from sources like dafont.com and use them in your projects. And set canvas. This is really cool. I'm going to just show you real quick on this. What search canvas or set canvas does is it allows you to kind of visualize the project you're working on. So you have all these canvas types: home decor, fashion, gear, cards, photo memories, kids, crafts, parties, whatever. So click on gear. I don't know what that is. So you want to decorate your laptop. You want to put some vinyl on there, and you want to go with that. So you click on laptop. See how it, well, let me scroll out because you can't really see it. So that's what they're saying is a laptop. It's not going to cut. It's not going to print. It's not going to do anything other than visually kind of be there for you as your guide. So if you click on canvas over here, it's got laptop. You can, there's no drop down for that. You can say it's a small laptop or a large laptop, or you can custom size it. So if your laptop is 14 inches by 10, boom, there, now it's going to be 14 by 10. You can change the color of your canvas so it's easier to see. It's still not, this is not going to print or cut or do anything other than just allow you to visually use it to create your project, okay? So I don't want this, so I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to say make a new project. I don't want to save. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to look at insert images. This is going to bring up every Cricut image on every single cartridge. Over 50,000 images are at my disposal right here. It tells me which ones I own, which ones are free, which ones I have to pay for, and if I scroll down, which ones are part of the subscription that I'm subscribed to. Okay, if I don't own it, it's going to have a price tag here next to it, and it's going to tell me how much it's going to cost for me to use it. See this little icon that some of them have? This tells me it's a print to cut image. It's going to go into my project as a print to cut image. You can change other things to be a print to cut image, but this one is already pre-set up to be a print to cut image. Okay, so here's all the cartridges. Like I said, oh, important feature. If I hover over this little eye here and click on it, it tells me this is on the Disney Frozen cartridge. It's called Anna, or Anna, however they pronounce it, and it's number M1CECA7. So I could put that in there, this M1CECA7, and it would bring it up for me. I don't know why you would want to, but it tells you what cartridge it is. That's important. So there's those. So I can click on category. These are your free cuts of the week. If you have the subscription, you already have them. It doesn't really benefit you, but the free cuts if you have the subscription, because you have them anyway. So click this X and get out of there. Most popular, this is what everybody across every network in the whole world using Cricut, this is the most popular cartridges out there that are being used, and of course it's frozen. Go figure. The recently added, those are going to be your newest cartridges that Cricut has added to the craft room. I'm not going to click on that one, but you have categories. So if you're working on a project and you're just coming up, you can't think of what to put on there. Here's birthday. Click on birthday. It's going to come up with anything and everything birthday related possible for you to use as inspiration. Okay. So there's a whole bunch of those categories. You can scroll through. Fall, Hanukkah, spiritual and religion. They've thought of them all. Now we got brands down here. Now these are going to be your special license cartridges. And you'll notice they're not all there. Yes, you have Anna Griffin and you have Disney and you have Leah Griffith and so on and so forth, but you don't see the Close to My Hearts or the Stampin' Apps or even the old Creative Memory ones. And that's because those cartridges, you cannot purchase the images separate. You cannot purchase just one image off of that cartridge. These you can. So if I click on Disney, it's going to show me everything on every Disney cartridge out there. And I can purchase this for $1.49. I can do one image versus buying the whole cartridge. So that's a pretty cool feature you can have on that. Or you can click on cartridges. And it's going to bring up all your images sorted by cartridge. Now, your cartridges that I mentioned a minute ago, like the Close to My Hearts and my Stampin' Up, they're not going to show up anywhere on here unless you own them and have them linked. So you can't really just play with them like you could in Cricut Craft Room, but that's that. So if I type in sweater weather, let's try that one because I'm cold. Ooh. So this brings me the sweater weather cartridge, and it tells me there's 60 images on this cartridge, and it tells me I own it. So I can click here that says view all images, or I can just click over here somewhere. It's going to bring them all up. So here is every cartridge on, or I'm sorry, every image on the sweater weather cartridge. But I'm lazy and I don't want to search through 60 images. I want to just find a mitten. So I type mitten up here in the search bar. Now it's only going to search for mitten in the sweater weather cartridge because that's where I'm at. So if I type in mitten and I hit enter, there are my mittens that are on this cartridge. Pretty cool, huh? So if I click on it, we're going to get this little checkbox here, and you see it puts it down here. So this is when I hit import or insert images, it's going to put this on my cutting mat. And I go, no, I'm really not liking this one. I can click off of it right here, or down here on this X, I can click it and it goes away. And I'm left with just this one image. So let's import that image. And there it is on my mat. Very easy. Now, just like in Craft Room, you have your tools. You can drag them. You can rotate them. I'm going to just undo with that one to put it back. You can unlock the aspect ratio, or you can delete it completely with this X up here. Or we can come over here on this Layers tab, and we can see we have two. It's called Winter Mitten, and there's 2 layers to this mitten because they're right here. So I can hide the one behind it and leave me with just this one, or I can get rid of the top one and have just the shadow image, I guess you'd call it, if that's what you want. Or you can use them both. Or you can go, I don't like that color. So if you click on just that image there, you can make it pink. I like pink, so we're going to go with pink. And we can make this one white. So that's how you change colors. Super easy. You can go to the Edit tab. We're going to click on it. We can change its size. Now remember, we can do it here. or we can do it over here. We have it locked, so whatever I change in the width, it's going to adjust it for the height, or vice versa. Or you can unlock it and change it one at a time. You can use these arrows here and rotate it, or you could say put a 90 in there. Hit tab, it's going to flip it 90 degrees. Put it right back to 0. You can mirror it side by side. You can mirror it up and down. Put that back. This tells you your X and your Y position. Right now, my X is at 1.97, and that's going to be my far left edge. So if I move this to a 3, see, it moved it so that my far left edge is on the up and down 3. If I put my Y at 2, it's going to move it so my top right here is at 2. So your X is always your far left and your Y is your top. Okay, but you can also move it this way. Just manually click on it and drag it anywhere you want it. And you'll see it changes it over here. That's just your positioning. Your syncing is your colors. So if I wanted to make the white piece of this back here the same color as this pink, I can just click on it here and drag it up to the pink line, and now it's all pink. I don't want it that way, so I'm going to undo it. But that's what you could do. Okay? So that helps a lot. So if I was wanting to add, well, let's add a text. So if I typed in snow, it automatically, and I go to go, puts it at Cricut alphabet font. Now I can use this drop down here and access my system fonts, my Cricut font, my single layer fonts, or my handwriting style. These are perfect for when you're wanting to, say, use your Explorer to address envelopes. I've done that. It works really cool. But we're going to just leave it on all. And I'm going to hit this drop down. And it takes a lot because I have a lot of fonts on my computer, plus all the Cricut fonts as well. But it will drop down. Come on. It's thinking. It needs dinner too. Okay. So I have all these fonts, and see how some of them have a price next to them? It's because I don't own that font. So if I want to use this font on this project, I'm going to have to buy it, and it's going to tell me it's $4.99. But let's use Cake Basics because that looks kind of cool. So what I was saying is, see how it came in here at this red color? Well, that doesn't match my pink at all. So if I went over here to sync, and I can move this right down to this row, and now my words match my mitten. That's how you can match your colors up. This is also important because everything on this color is going to cut on one mat. Everything on the white is going to cut on one mat, and so on. I could have 15 colors here, and those are how the mats are going to cut, okay? But I want to go back here for a second. So I have my words, and I have my mitten. I'm so sorry, guys. So I want to make this a little bit bigger. And let's say, see, I've got it all highlighted here. I can right click and hit ungroup, or I have the ungroup option down here. I can ungroup them. So now all my letters are, well, it didn't ungroup them. Now see how I have all my individual letters over here? I can move my W. So if I wanted it to go like this on my project, move this O down a smidge. So let's just say I wanted it to cut just like this. Now when I go to my mat, it's not going to do that. See how it did that? It's all messed up. It just kind of puts it on there how it wants to, because that's what it does. But I really want it to cut this way. So if I click on my W and I hold my control key and I click on my O and I click on my N and I click on my S and I click on the red part of my mitten, okay, and I click attach. It didn't really grab my mitten, but that's okay because you'll see what the gist is. And then I hit go. I said go. Now it puts it up the way I want it to. I didn't attach my mitten. I must have missed it. Had I attached it, it would be reversed. I could move it on my mat like this and make it cut where I want to. I can move my mitten over here. I can move it. You can change everything before you hit the cut, okay? So that's a pretty cool feature. And then I have, of course, my white layer down here. Right here it tells you, oh, I want to mirror it because I'm going to do it as an iron-on or upside down glass cutting board. You click that little button and it's going to do it for you. And maybe I want 3 of these. I just hit 3 and hit apply. It's going to cut it for me 3 times on that mat. And if I took it and I needed another mat, so like let's just say I make it 5, it'll show me another mat on here. See? Okay. Now one little trick, like see how I can unweld or undetach these? If I weld them, they're welded. You can't unweld them unless you hit undo. But if you save them, you can't unweld them. So that's a little tip. Don't weld until you know you want them welded. Okay. So move these right back up here the way they were. You have the same features. Well, they're not straight. That's alright. You know, we'll just undo. Better to start with a clean project. We'll undo to get back to where we were when we started. Okay, so now they're all one again. So if I click on this edit tab, no, that's not. Sorry, I'm thinking in my head. So let's add some text again. And we're going to go, whoops. We're going to say winter this time. I don't care what the font is, so I'm not going to come over here and change it. We'll just leave it on Cake Basics. So I'm making it big. But see all these options I have here? I can change the spacing between my letters. See how they're getting smaller with each click? Or I can just type in if I want them to be 5. So there's 5. Oops. If I had multiple lines, I can say how far apart I wanted them to be. This is where I can change the size. You can rotate it. Again, that's our 90 degrees, so it goes in a circle. Then you can set the position. You can mirror it if you click on it, right? And you can flip it up and down. So those are the fun little features there. Okay. Now, if we go back to this Layers tab, remember Hide Contour? How we had that in Cricut Craft Room? We can do that here too. So if I click on the contour, nope, I can't do it on text, sorry. I don't know why. Maybe because I have them grouped. So if I ungroup them and then I click on the E, only it didn't ungroup them. Okay, now they're all separate here, see? If I click on that E, I can contour that now. And it's going to show me I can take that little centerpiece out, click out of it, and now it's gone. I can put it back just click on the E, hit the contour, click on that line again, and click off of it, and it's right there. Okay. Now, something neat. I'm going to get rid of these letters because I want to show you something else. I'm just kind of encompassing them all. I missed the W, but I'm going to get rid of it. So we're back to just our mitten here. Okay. So, we know my head, why? Oh, there was an image behind it. Sorry. Okay, get rid of those. So we know that our mitten has 2 layers to it, right? And you can only use the slice feature if it's with 2 layers. You cannot slice if it's more than 2 layers. So if I hold my control key down and I click on, this is gray, and I hold it down and I click on this, it's not going to let me slice because they're grouped. And I know they're grouped because they're both under this. So if I click on this, and again, I can ungroup here, or I can ungroup down here, but it went away. Now I have 2 lines, one that says winter mitten up here and one that says winter mitten down here. So I know those are 2 separate layers. Okay, so now if I click on this one and I click on this one, I'm going to see the slice feature. Now, whichever one is on top is going to slice to the one that's on the bottom. So if I click slice, my mitten is going to turn white, and watch what happens. It's all white. And I move this off, and look what happens. So let's undo that. That's not appealing. But if I click on this winter mitten here, and I say, now remember I'm only on this one because it's highlighted gray, this one is not, and I say move it to the front. So it's sitting on front now, okay? And then I click on this one and I hold my control key down and I click on that one. They're both highlighted. I have my slice feature. And I slice and I can move it off. Now it's pink. And so it basically just cut out the same image. And if you, it's weird. This isn't really showing you how you would want to do it, but like the Starbucks images, when we were making the Starbucks logos and we were cutting out that center, you would slice that center out and it opens it up. But now I have the same 2 features that I had before, only instead of having a whole image, remember I had the whole mitten, I have now just these little pieces of it. So I can put it back on here. So instead of having the whole mitten that cut out as a shadow, I now just have this little piece. So that's how the slice feature works. So then I could even go even, I mean, you wouldn't do this because it would have just been easier to use the 2 images that we had, but I could click on this one and I could say contour. Oh, you can't contour a sliced image. Didn't know that. So there we go. So that is those features. Up at the top here, we can undo and go right back to where we were before we did that silly slice. Okay. See, this is what I was saying. I had the whole mitten shadow versus just the little pieces. It is what it is. But so you can copy up here and cut, and if I hit copy, then I see the paste feature, so I can paste here. That makes another one. I can delete it by hitting this delete button here, or I can highlight this and go down here and hit duplicate, and it just does it for me in 1 button instead of 2. I can hit delete and get rid of it again. I can select everything on my mat by hitting select all. And what else did I want to show you? Oh, you can weld some features. Remember, if you weld it, it's welded. You cannot unweld it. So, and they don't even have to be touching. Okay? So if I hit weld here, they're both going to be white because that was the image that it welded. And now when I go to my go, those are one image. So if I made 4 of them, it's going to make additional mats. I have to hit apply. And it's going to cut them identical. I can still undo because I haven't saved, but there's no unweld option. So if I was to save this, this is how it is. I cannot unweld it, but I can undo it because I haven't saved it. Okay. Oops. What other options do we have? We've attached. Flatten will come to later. And I think that's it. So I hope I didn't confuse you too bad. This is just using basic features that are on here. You can say new. You can go to your projects. You can save this. I don't want to save this. But so if I went to my project, it's going to ask me, do I want to save it? I'm going to say no. These are all of my projects. Now you'll see that they're automatically public. Okay. They will automatically be public, which means you can share them, and I'll show you this, until you use an image that you import. Then it is no longer public and you cannot share it. So if I wanted to share, say, Blossom Card Kit, I need to open it up. So this is my Blossom Card Kit. It's a kit I do for my club members. I can right click here and copy this, paste it or email it, and anybody who has Design Space can open it up and use it. Why? Because it's Cricut images. It's nothing I imported. So that's how that works. You can go right back to your Make It Now projects, which we went through yesterday. Close this. There's all your Make It Now projects. And the most important thing is don't think you're going to break anything. You can undo. You can start over. You can push a button like I did tonight and it's going to tell you, no, can't do it. What's the worst that's going to happen? That. Can't do it. Or if you have your image exactly how you know you want it, but you want to try something and you're not sure about it, save it. Save it, save it, save it before you do that thing that's questionable. Okay? So that's it. That's video number 2. You can message me right here on YouTube. You can message me in the Facebook group, Cricut Explore and Design Space. You can send me a PM on Facebook. You just get a hold of me any way you want to if you have a question. Those are my most easily found options. And stay tuned for video number 3. Let me know any questions you have, because if I confused you at all, I want to answer those questions before we go on to video number 3. I want you comfortable with number 2 before we start number 3. That's it. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching.